For some countries, the end of World War II brought joy, freedom, and most importantly, peace. But for others, the aftermath was just as devastating as the war itself. So today we're going to look at 5 countries who were victorious in World War II, but suffered a terrible fate afterwards. Number 5. Poland. Before World War II, Poland was in a bit of a weird spot. They had a ton of ethnic minorities within their borders, including Germans, Ukrainians, Belarusians, and Jews, and these groups often had more loyalty to their ethnic homeland than to Poland itself. But that didn't stop Poland from fighting valiantly during World War II, even though they were completely surrounded by enemies. After the war, Poland was given a portion of Germany to make up for the territories they lost to Germany in 1939, but then the Soviet Union came in and took all of their new land as well as half of their country. To make things worse, the Soviets installed a communist government in Poland and kept it under their sphere of influence for the next 40 years. No, for Ukraine. Before World War II, Ukraine was a part of the Soviet Union, so when Germany invaded the USSR, they fought against them. But when the war was over, the Soviets decided to take all of the land that Ukraine had gained during the war, not to mention the additional land they took from Poland. But it gets worse because Stalin also killed off millions of Ukrainian farmers in an attempt to force collectivization. And then he blamed it on an alleged Ukrainian nationalist leader. No, 3. China. After fighting alongside the Allies in World War II, China was finally free from Japanese occupation. But then came the Korean War, which started just a year after World War II ended, and it devastated China's economy. Then there was the Great Leap Forward, which was an economic and agricultural program that was intended to transform China into a communist utopia. It did quite the opposite though, and led to widespread famine and the deaths of tens of millions of people. Then came the Cultural Revolution, which was a decade-long period in which Mao Zedong tried to purge China of all capitalist, traditional, and foreign influences. This resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people. And now for No. 2, we head to Southeast Asia. For centuries, the Dutch had ruled over the region with an iron fist. And when World War II rolled around, they were still trying to hold on to their colony of Indonesia. But once the Japanese took over, the Indonesians rose up and fought for their independence. And after the war, the Indonesians got their independence. But then there was a brief period of conflict between Indonesia and the Netherlands. And then Indonesia got hit with a horrible tsunami that killed hundreds of thousands of people. But number 1 is hands down the worst. Italy. After being neutral in the early years of the war, Italy joined the Axis powers in 1940. They fought alongside the Germans in North Africa. But after suffering heavy casualties, they eventually surrendered to the Allies. But then the Italian people turned on their own government and established a republic. Then the Germans came in and took control of northern Italy. When the war was over, the entire country was split in half. The north was occupied by the Western Allies, and the south was occupied by the Soviet Union. And then there was the Greek, Turkish and Palestinian question, which led to Italy losing more land.